So here we have the equation 12x squared plus 28x plus 15, and we want to factor it. How can we do this? Well, our first step is to look at our a, b, and c values and see if they have a common factor that we can pull out. In this case, we do not have any common factors between 12, 28, and 15, so we will leave our equation as is. We still want to factor it, however, so how can we do it? Well, let's go over to this x I have, and in this top portion, we are going to write down what a times c is. Our a value is 12, and our c value is 15. So let's go out to the side and multiply 12 times 15. 5 times 2 is 10. Carry your 1. We have a 6. Place your 0. Then we have a 2 and a 1 that we add to be 180. So a times c is 180. And then in the bottom portion of our x, we'll place our b value. This is 28. And so we want to find two numbers which multiply to give us 180 and which sum to give us 28. So let's think about some factors of 180. Of course, we have 1 and 180, 2 and 90, and then I'm going to skip down some. Of course, we also have 10 and 18, and ding, 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 10 and 18 will sum to give us 28. So we're going to write 10 here and 18 here. Next, we're going to rewrite our equation, but we're going to split up this middle term. Let me show you what I mean. So we have 12x squared plus, now we're going to write 10x plus 18x. We're going to use the two numbers which we found, and then finish out our equation plus 15. Now we're allowed to do this because 10x plus 18x is 28x. So we haven't changed our equation. However, whenever we expand our equation like this, it allows us to now factor by grouping. So we're going to pay attention to our first two terms and our second two terms. So for our first two terms, what can we factor out? What's the greatest common factor between our first two terms? Well, 12 and 10, not multiples of 6, 12 and 10 are both multiples of 2, and they both have an x term. So we can pull out a 2x. 2x times 6x will give us 12x squared, and 2x times 5 will give us our 10x. Next, we'll look at 18x plus 15. What's our greatest common factor here? Well, 3 is. 3 times 6x is 18x, and 3 times 5 is 15. Now you know you did this correctly if what you have in parentheses matches. Okay? And then lastly, this is where factor by grouping. We're going to rewrite this as 2x plus 3. We're going to write these two terms on the outside together. We're going to group them. And then what we have left over is our 6x plus 5. So you just factored this nasty, nasty equation in this simple manner. Here, let's solve one more practice problem. Here we have 8x squared plus 10x minus 12. Again, the first step is to see if they have a shared common factor. And in this case, they do. We can pull out a 2 immediately, and we'll be left with 4x squared plus 5x minus 6. Now, we follow the same process where we look at our a and c values, and we multiply them. 4 times negative 6 is negative 24. And then our b value is 5. So we want to find two factors which multiply to give us negative 24 and sum to give us 5. So let's think of our factors of 24. Of course, we have 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, and ding, 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 3 and 8. We can combine these to give us 5, in that we have a positive 8 and a negative 3. So again, let's rewrite our equation. Now we have 2 times 4x squared. Now we're going to rewrite our middle term as plus x, or plus 8x, and minus 3x. And then we have our minus 6 left over. Again, we did not change the integrity of our equation because 8x minus 3x is 5x, so nothing has changed. However, now we can factor by grouping. Again, let's focus in on the first two terms. What can we factor out of this? Well, we can factor out a 4x, and when we factor out the 4x, we're left with an x plus a 2. And then what can we factor out of our next two terms? Well, we can factor out a minus 3. Minus 3 times x is minus 3x, and minus 3 times positive 2 is a negative 6. Don't forget the 2 on the outside from the beginning. And now we can complete this problem by writing 2 times 4x minus 3 times x plus 2.